turn to the state institutions that are involved in investigations. Mr. Speaker, this side of the House, the minority, is never against accountability. I repeat, the minority in this House is never against accountability. But we want to say to the state agencies, execute your mandate with a human face. We are seeing situations where, Mr. Speaker, bail is being used as punishment. Iyoko, for instance, is
Honorable minority, please address the chair.
Mr. Speaker, today we see Iyoko granting bail with onerous conditions. Suspects are being demanded to provide title documents, valued title documents, and it is done such that the person will remain days in custody. Mr. Speaker, we have to watch some of these. As a country, if we don't find space to end bitterness and revenge, it will continue. Today, it is NDC in office. NDC will not be in power forever. If something happened yesterday, it is time for us to end it. Because, Mr. Speaker, tomorrow, for those who are occupying positions, they should remember that if they don't control and check some of these things, it may be difficult for the moderates in the opposition party to control those hawks when that time comes. It is time to end the bitterness, the revenge, and the pain. We are a country of one people. If the hawks will continue to dictate to governance, so be it, but we'll live to see. Mr. Speaker, I cannot gloss over what is happening to our judiciary. Our Chief Justice is being hounded. The ongoing situation involving the suspended Chief Justice raises serious concerns. The process lacks transparency and is being cloaked in so much secrecy. The public is left in the dark, and the questions are mounting about the selective justice, political witch hunt, and the shielding of party loyalists. The judiciary must never be reduced to a battlefield for political score settling. The Attorney General's recent conduct raises serious concerns about politicization of justice. We are witnessing a troubling pattern of selective prosecution where political opponents are swiftly targeted while allies of the government are shielded from accountability. This blatant double standard undermines public confidence in the justice system and threatens the rule of law at its core. Today, there's a new word in town, 60-40. Mr. Speaker, before I bring my remarks to a close, let me touch on a matter that occurred in this House on the 22nd of July. Mr. Speaker, on the 21st of July, I attended the Northern Development Conference. I left home at dawn to honor the invitation of the majority leader. I returned very fatigued, but I still had to come to the house. I was taken ill the early hours of 22nd of July. And whilst on my hospital bed watching the TV, I witnessed an event in this very floor which left me very sad. Mr. Speaker, I found it very strange that after the selection committee had taken a decision to table a motion regarding composition of delegation to Pan-Africa and ECOWAS, two events took place on this House floor. One, on Pan-Africa. Mr. Speaker, after both leaders had discussed at length on the issue of Pan-Africa, I found it strange that a motion was moved that gave the MPP minority 1 seat with an observer status. Mr. Speaker, the formula we agreed in this House floor was to give us 2 seats. So what was given to us was not a favor. Our rights were denied us. And I'm saying that, Mr. Speaker, this must never happen. We demand that the majority must revisit this matter and ensure that the right thing is done. This is a house of precedents. Mr. Speaker, on the ECOWAS situation, the situation was worse. The leader of the house rose and moved a motion to vary the delegation, ostensibly taking my name out. Mr. Speaker, I found this very strange. I am a member of the ECOWAS Parliament, duly sworn in with a fixed mandate of 4 years. I am also a deputy speaker of ECOWAS Parliament. Mr. Speaker, internally, our side had done our own internal arrangement, and although leaders normally go to IPU and CPA, my deputy and I had discussed, and she was taking the slot for IPU and CPA. It would also interest you to know, Mr. Speaker, that as a leader, I am not on any committee in this parliament, apart from our statutory committees. So for an impression to be created that the deputy minority leader is being cheated and that the majority leader was coming to his rescue was rather very rich. Mr. Speaker, we must not allow such situations to happen. It takes away the very trust that exists between us as leaders. And I pray that this must never happen again. However, I am happy to announce that the deputy minority leader, upon becoming aware of this situation, swiftly reacted to it, and Mr. Speaker has also swiftly responded to the memo from the deputy minority leader, all aimed at resolving this matter. And I'm happy with the content of Mr. Speaker's response, which response gives me great relief that indeed there is still an opportunity for us to judge all and to resolve situations in this house. Mr. Speaker,
he also talked about investigative agencies using bail as a tool for punishing people who are being prosecuted. What I can say, Mr. Speaker, is that this House should not be used to intimidate investigative agencies. The YOCO was established by law, and YOCO was established by a law enacted by this Parliament or previous Parliament so that they can carry out a specific mandate. Indeed, the Office of Special Prosecutor was established by the new Patriotic Party government, and the law was enacted. The Special Prosecutor was appointed by the government of the new Patriotic Party when they were in office to exercise mandate that this Parliament gave them. And I think that in all the legislation that we have established, we have clearly spelled out that citizens have rights, and when those rights are being violated, they have access to our courts to go and vindicate their rights. I think that it is the height of hypocrisy for us to enact such fine laws, establish those institutions, and when they are exercising their responsibilities and their mandates, for us to sit in this House and criticize them and try to undermine them in the exercise of their legitimate duties. So, Speaker, those who feel aggrieved by those institutions know where to go to. they know the road to where the court buildings are, and they can afford lawyers to vindicate their rights. The minority leader also spoke about the Pan-African Parliament and the ECOWAS Parliament delegations that were constituted by this House. Right, Honorable Speaker, what I can say about that simply is that this House has appropriately passed resolutions, taken decisions on the composition of our delegations to the Pan-African Parliament and the ECOWAS Parliament, and I believe that any revocation of the decision of Parliament has to be based on another resolution of this House changing that decision. Otherwise, the decision remains the decision of Parliament. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, an important event occurred, and I was hoping to make a statement on that, but due to the constraints of time, I never got to make a statement on that. I'm sure many of you have read social studies and history, either senior high school or, those days secondary school, O-level or A-level at sixth form, or even in the university. And we all remember the famous bond of 1844, which was the bond that really began colonialism in the then Gold Coast, which is now Ghana. I'm happy to announce that last week, the National Archives of the United Kingdom brought to this Parliament a copy of the original bond of 1844. And we now have that. We now have a copy in our archives for viewing. Yes, the original copy, a copy of the original copy was brought here and given to the Speaker to be kept in our national archives. So all those who want to see the original copy of the bond of 1844 can walk to our the Parliamentary Archive, and they will see a copy of the original bond. I urge the students who visit us anytime they come to pass through our archives and view the copy of the bond of 1844. Mr. Speaker, as we proceed on recess, I will urge honorable colleagues to prioritize their health and general well-being. In spite of our busy and tight schedules, we must find time to rest and spend quality time with our families. While the work we do is important, taking care of ourselves and spending time with family is equally important. Our Parliament, since its inception in 1993, has been inundated by so many preventable deaths, and it is time we prioritize our general health and well-being even as we serve the people. I will conclude. Minority Leader, in his closing remarks, raised a number of issues, and I think that it is only fair for me to provide some basic responses. Mr. Speaker, he raised the issue of Galamsey. I must admit that as a country, we must be united in the fight against Galamsey. It is a problem that has plagued our society, and in the last 4 years, Galamsey was a major problem. Our rivers were largely polluted. There was digging everywhere, and I was even shocked a few weeks ago when I was driving from Kumasi to Accra and saw that in some communities, there was digging even right behind a police station building. Right behind a police station building. People were digging looking for gold. Mr. Speaker, this government, upon assumption of office, has put in place a number of measures aimed at decisively dealing with the problem of Galamsey and the pollution of our river bodies. Quite recently, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources commissioned 1,000 blue water guards. Those 1,000 blue water guards are already working and turning our water bodies, which had become brown, to blue. And I think that in due course, the various polluted rivers will be cleaned, and we'll begin to see blue water, flowing in our rivers, and not the brown, milky water that was flowing in them in 2024. We are also overhauling the licensing regime. Just last week, 907 licenses were announced, and people were being asked to come and rectify all their licenses so that we will have them on record, documented, the owners, the sites, so we can deploy, the requisite expertise to monitor activities at those 907 small-scale mining sites. Mr. Speaker, there is a well-coordinated fight against illegal mining led by the National Anti-Illegal Mining team, that is NAIMOs, and they are fighting illegal mining. Mr. Speaker, Cabinet has approved a well-refined cooperative mining program to deal with the problem of illegal mining. And indeed, Cabinet has also voted significant amounts of money for alternative livelihoods. You will recall that yesterday in our closing debate on the mid-year budget, we recounted the various increments in social interventions, all meant to complement efforts that we are putting in place, driving people out of illegal mining sites, and you have to give them alternative livelihoods and support them. Mr. Speaker, there is an effective coordination in the importation of excavators. I want to report to this House that under the NPP, between 2023 to 2024, NPP arrested only 845 illegal miners, 2023-2024, and prosecuted only 35 persons. Within 6 months, the NDC government has arrested 1,345 people, and most of them are being processed for court. Mr. Speaker, we have seized 425 excavators. 425 excavators have been seized, and those 425 excavators are still held by the government of Ghana, and none of them is missing. Mr. Speaker, at the port, we are monitoring the importation of excavators, and over 1,000 excavators are being held at the port. Over 1,000 excavators are being held at the port. And there's a coordinated work between the Minerals Commission, DVLA, and Customs. And now, when you import an excavator, you will have to justify the reason for the importation. You'll have to show that you have a government contract that requires that you use an excavator, or you have to show that you have a mining concession or lease that requires the use of the excavator. And we will also install trackers on the excavators, and then also the movement of the excavators will be geo-fenced. So when you move the excavators, where the excavators are operating will be monitored by the Minerals Commission, the DVLA, and Customs. And because many of them cannot justify the importation of the excavators, we have over 1,000 excavators held up at the port. So the fight against illegal mining and galamsey is continuing, unabated and relentlessly by this government. The minority leader mentioned attack on businessmen. Mr. Speaker, there is no attack on businessmen in this country. The persons that he mentioned are people that I personally know. And so when businessmen and state agencies have issues and they are being addressed using appropriate legal mechanisms, let not politicize them. Mr. Speaker, he talked about electricity tariffs. Indeed, when you say in one vein that we need to rationalize our energy sector, and yet you criticize any effort to engage in cost recovery when it comes to the production and sale of electricity, then it becomes very contradictory. Mr. Speaker,